Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shreyanshi Bhatt and this is the 9th lecture of our CSE 101 playlist. So in this lecture also we will continue learning about object-oriented programming. So let's start. Okay, so in this lecture we will start with inheritance. Now what is inheritance? Inheritance means there will be a parent class and there will be a child class which will inherit from the parent class. So one class can inherit properties and methods from another. So this promotes code reuse. So as it has inherited from the parent class, there is no need to write the functions which were already defined in the parent class again, as the child class can directly use it. So that promotes code reuse. Okay, now let's see an example. So we have a class called animal and here we have a function called sound which will print animal sound. Then we have a class called dog. So this dog is a child class which is inheriting the parent class which is animal. So class dog and then in the bracket we will write animal, which will means that it is inheriting from it, and dog is the child class, animal is the parent class. So here also in the dog class we have a function called sound, but this sound will print bark and not just animal sound. So when we create an object called D, which is a dog class object, and then if we do D dot sound, so it will print bark. Okay, so that is inheritance. Now there are different types of inheritance. So let's see them one by one. Okay, so this is single inheritance. What does that mean? So a single child class inherits from one parent class. So if this is a parent class, a child class will inherit from it. That is single inheritance. Now in multiple inheritance, a child class inherits from more than one parent class. So if this is a child class, so it can have more than one parent class. That is multiple inheritance. Now what is multi-level inheritance? A child inherits from a parent and then another class inherits from the child. So if this is a parent, let's say this is one child A and then this is a child of A. So then this becomes the grandparent. You can call this as the father and this is the son. So that's how multi-level inheritance work. And what is hierarchical inheritance? Multiple child classes inherit from one parent. So this is one parent. Now multiple child classes will inherit from it. So that is a hierarchical inheritance. And what is hybrid inheritance? It is a combination of two or more types of inheritance. So if we do this, which is the hierarchical inheritance, and if in there we do this, which is the single inheritance, so then this becomes a hybrid inheritance. Okay, so now let's continue to another topic. Yes, so now what is polymorphism? Now polymorphism means, poly means many and morphism means forms. So polymorphism means many forms. Now there are two types of polymorphisms: compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is also known as method overloading and runtime polymorphism is known as method overriding. Now we have taken an example of Python in which method overloading is not supported. Method overloading does not work in Python, but it does work in Java. Okay, and it only means that we have, let's say we have a function called add, and here we only take two variables x and y. Okay, and then we provide a definition and then we create another function with the same name, but this time we only take in one parameter and write its definition. So we have the same name of function but two different functions. Okay, so that is what is compile time polymorphism or method overloading. Now what is runtime polymorphism? So here seen this method overloading, if we give two parameters, this function will be used. If we give just one parameter, then this function will be used. That is figured out by the compiler itself, like which one to call. Okay, so that is why it is called compile time polymorphism, right? And in runtime polymorphism, this is method overriding. So let's see this code here. We have a class called cat which has a sound function which prints meow. We have a dog class for which we have the same function called sound, but this prints bark. And we have a random function, normal random function, which is make sound, and it takes in animal object and then it prints animal dot sound. Now if we use this function make sound and pass in a cat object, so then it will print meow, and if we use this make sound function and pass in a dog object, it will print bark. So we have the same name sound function, but they are behaving differently. Now this happens at runtime, so that is why it is method overriding. Runtime polymorphism. Okay, let's move on. Now what is abstraction? Okay, so hiding complex details from the user and exposing only what is necessary by using abstract classes or interfaces, that is known as abstraction. So we have this module called ABC module. So we will import ABC from ABC module and this abstract method. Now we have a class called shape, and as it is taking in this ABC module, so this is an abstract class and this is a abstract method. Area is an abstract method. This is a way of telling it that the area function is an abstract method. So in this area we will just write pass. There will not be any definition of the function here. And here we have a class called circle, which is the child class of the parent class shape. And here we need to define all the functions that we have declared in the parent class. So here we will define area and then we will return 3.14 into 4 into 4, which is an example radius. Okay. So how we can select any number of abstract methods, right? It is not like we can only declare one abstract method. There can be multiple abstract methods, and in the abstract class we can also define functions over there. That is allowed in Python. But whatever abstract methods are there, that needs to be defined in the child class, which will extend the parent class. I hope you are getting my point. So let's move on and let's look at the real world examples of OOP concepts. Okay, so class and object. So let's say we have an account class and we have customer classes. So these are the type of classes and we will need to make their objects to be able to use them. What was encapsulation? Like private balance field. So everything was inside one class. We had private variables and all of that. There are something called access modifiers in Java, okay, which you can explore on your own. So that was encapsulation. What was inheritance? Like one class extending another class. So savings account extending account class. Savings account is a child class, account is a parent class. That was inheritance. What was polymorphism? They were of two types: runtime polymorphism, compile time polymorphism. So display details for each type. Now if we have display details function, like three functions of the same name display details, so that will be polymorphism, which means many form. What was abstraction? Abstract class account. So here we don't define the functions and we just declare them, and in the child classes which extend them, we define the actual behavior of the function over there. That was abstraction. Okay, so that is it for today's lecture. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for listening to me till the end. Please like, share and subscribe to make this beautiful grandma happy. I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.